Hey, everybody. How you doing? Happy Friday. It's been 4 weeks since we've been blessed with your presence, but Greg and I are here today with the Local Marketing Institute Connect. You can reach Greg. He's with Search Lab Digital, and he's at Greg Gifford. You can reach me, Ben Fisher, Steady Demand, at The Social Dude. All right. So please do join us on Facebook. We've got like over 2,000 members, actually. What's up with that screenshot there, Greg? But
I
yeah,
put the wrong one up, dude. Sorry.
it's okay.
I
We've
pulled up the wrong.
shrunk.
It was the last. I pulled up the wrong PowerPoint because it was that last minute. We were catching up too much and not getting the PowerPoint up fast
Oh
enough.
God, I hope Belarus is not in here. All right.
No, it's
So
not.
anyway,
It would be
so
if I went far enough, but I just realized I don't know why I pulled up the wrong one.
it's okay.
But anyway, here's
Anyway, we're human beings, believe it or not. Just saying. So we're not just great voices. All right. So anyway, join us on Local Marketing Institute Connect. Greg and I are there, as well as all of our guests and all of you fine people. Ask questions, learn about new things when we post. And finally, carry us with you on the go. We'll be in your ears. Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We can be with you when you're on the go.
it's great for road trips, y'all.
It is great for a road trip. I listen to it on road trips. All right. So
Get rid of that because we've got to start with the news.
all righty then. So, hey, everybody, thank you for sticking along. I know it's been 4 weeks. We apologize for that, but here we are. And just to do a little bit of housekeeping before we, hey, Trisha, before we get started. What's up, Max? Before we get started is please do put your questions into the Q&A. Okay. Greg and I are here. We will be answering any live questions that you give us today or next week or next in 2 weeks. If you have something that you want to be troubleshot and you're like, well, why is my GPP just not ranking very well? Then please put that into the GPP, into the Q&A as well. And Greg and I will definitely try and get to that. With
Yeah,
that,
we love doing those kind of on, spur of the moment live audits at the end of the show. So for sure, if you're here, you want us to take a look at something, pop it in to that Q&A section.
heck yeah. Okay, with that, we've got a lot of news today. It's been 2 weeks, but the last week has been just crazy. As you know, we like to talk a lot about AI because let's be real. AI is the next big thing. For any of you who have been in this business, in this industry of search for north of 20 years, you know that there's only a couple of things that have happened in your lifetime so far that have been earth-shaking. I mean, one of them was, well, the internet, right? There was that. And well, now here we are with AI. AI is going to transform all of our lives in ways that we cannot even tell. But from a search perspective, it's going to change our lives in the next 2 weeks. So there is that. So let's see. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to start with Bing really quick. Bing has changed to, or not changed. Microsoft made like a multi-billion-dollar investment in ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT, of course, stops at, what is it, 2021, I believe is where the data stops, right?
2021 data stop.
So what's happened is now Bing is going to become the default web scraper, basically, for ChatGPT. This is not live for all users right now. It is going to be live, from what I understand, as a plugin, and it'll bring search from Bing directly into ChatGPT. That's actually pretty huge, if you think about it. That brings the number of users using Bing up by, I'm going to say probably easily 1 billion.
Oh yeah, a ton.
Easy. So that's going to be pretty earth shaking there right there. I really hope they step up their local game. It's too easy to set up a business profile in Bing. I mean, you know that you can literally just make a location group and import it, and it will auto import everything. That's why spammers have a field day. All right, so there's that. The other thing with Bing is they did update. So now it used to be your character limit was 2,000 characters to do a prompt. They have upped that to 4,000. As far as I'm considering, as far as I look at it, is that they're still lagging behind. I think it's like what, 7,500 for ChatGPT, and I think it's actually 35,000 if you have the Plus subscription. So it's definitely lagging behind. But hey, I guess they're working on it. I even heard a rumor yesterday that they're thinking about allowing Sydney to come back with a prompt. That might be interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So that's Bing. Okay, now for the big news.
The Goose is making some change.
Yes, sir. What are your thoughts on this, Greg? Have you been following this?
For a bit there, I was like, no big deal, because it's not really going to mess around too much with local. And now it is messing around with local, and it sucks.
Okay, you need to put the buzzer sound there.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a couple. Let's do this. And this.
Yes, sir.
And the really crazy thing is the results don't seem to match up, which
correct.
Now, kind of like you ask ChatGPT the same thing 2 times, you get 2 different answers. You do the same search a couple times, you'll get different answers, or different people can do the same search from the same location and get different answers, and that's really problematic.
It's the problem with LLMs. Okay, so they're basically trying to guess your intent word by word, and that's how they function. So in all of my tests, it's like I write prompts for our team to do things, and every time I write those prompts, I test them again and again and again. I test them like about 5 times, and I test them on each one. I test it on ChatGPT, I test it on Bing, and test it on Bard. And I am not satisfied with that prompt until it gives me the exact thing I need religiously. But you're right, it's always going to be different. And if people start to rely on that for finding a restaurant, what's going to happen?
And where is the information even coming from? Because you would think that if they want to have that generative AI overlay on the search experience, that they just train it to go look at what the algorithm would have returned, but provided in a more conversational interface.
You would think.
Because that would be by far the easiest thing to do, than to have it go pull some random BS. And like, I was watching something on Twitter where somebody was looking at restaurants in Vegas and pulling stuff up. And I like to eat a lot in Vegas. If you've seen my post-COVID belly, you understand I like to eat in Vegas. And like, the stuff that it was pulling up for burger restaurants in Vegas were nowhere near even the top 10 of best places in Vegas to go eat burgers. And I'm sure that people in Vegas would agree with that as well. So it's like,
yeah.
Why do you have these I'm laughing at Trisha. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas unless it's eating and you're coming back with the weight, then it doesn't. But yeah, it's like you would think that at least it would semi-match. And like, there was another thing on Twitter that I was reading when I was sitting at the airport this week, and one of the 5 times I was sitting in an airport, and somebody was like comparing what they were getting from the generative experience and local results to the map pack results, and it never matched. And correct. Like, if Google has worked so hard to craft an algorithm based on whatever factors they're using or whatever factors the machine learning has added in, that they're fairly confident this is usually pretty accurate to return search results that match the intent of the search query, why would they suddenly go, let's just go with AI because that's the big buzz? And it totally tanks the quality of the search results. It makes 0 sense.
So the interesting thing I find about this is that if you take a look at some of the competitors to the top 3 AI generative experiences that we're talking about here, right? Like, you take a look at u.com, right? Or Perplexity. I think it's Perplexity, yeah. What they do is they do a mixture of organic search results, and then chat is an assistant.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what it is. So when you pick up and you look at a listing, it then will give you some data about that listing. The AI will, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the way it should be used.
For sure.
Personally, it should be used to answer a question. The danger, I think, that's going to come into play here for users is going to be because it's a shiny new toy, and because they are getting more powerful, because there's more hooks, right? And if you look at Google, it can get even scarier because they are hooked into your entire life, right?
Yep.
So what if Google did unleash the power of, I'm going to Vegas, please book me a trip. I want you to book a restaurant for every night. It should be a 3-star or above. The average meal should cost $80 per person. And I want you to go ahead and select some events for me based on my experience and what I like, and just do it. And then it goes ahead and does it, books it, uses your credit card, all of that, right?
Which would be rad if it was reliable. But right now it is, I mean, you're going to end up doing really wonky stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, do you really want to go to Magic Mike's? Just saying. That could happen. It could happen. So anyway, my point there is that, I think it's still very young. And I think the big three, or the big two, I guess you call it, right? Bing and Google, they still have room to lose and lose big time at this point. So that's the interesting thing. And why does all this matter to us? And why are we even talking about this? Because our livelihoods live in these platforms. If Google does crappy shit, we're screwed.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Kinda.
I don't necessarily agree with that. And here's why.
Okay.
I had a conversation about this in the Netherlands at YosCon, which was only like a week ago. And then I had a conversation about this at the conference I did in Quebec on Wednesday. Now, obviously, it's all speculation, but we all kind of figure that Google is rushing to this because it's buzzy, and they're clearly doing it defensively because Bing was first to integrate any sort of LLM into search play.
Right.
But we all know, because we've seen it already, in its current form, it sucks. And it's not going to provide good results. And while everybody might be jazzed about it, as the general public, when they start to see how much the results suck, they're going to not like it. There's going to be complaints.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, they jump and quit using Google. And that's always been Google's biggest potential pitfall, is if they do anything that makes people not use Google, they lose billions of ad revenue. And then that's the other kind of thing that comes after this is, are they going to roll it out in the verticals where they make billions of dollars on
like
Google
hotels?
Ads? Like there's several verticals that are their most lucrative verticals for ads. Are they really going to add this generative experience that pushes ads down below the fold? Because
from what I've seen, hold 1 second. From what I've seen lately, is the people who are actually experimenting with it right now, they got into labs, is that there's ads above the generative search, ads below the generative search, and there's even more ads below the organic.
Right, but you're still pushing some ads lower, and they for sure have data that even moving something 10 pixels down the page reduces the number of clicks it's going to get.
Sure.
I'm sure they want to be buzzy and do all this to compete with Microsoft, but at what point does revenue start to tank where then they back off, at least in some verticals, and go, maybe we don't do this here, Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. And I think as a whole, in our industry, there's going to be a lot of opportunity, because just like anything in search, we're going to have to adapt, right?
Yep.
And who knows, maybe all of us become AI search optimization companies in a couple of years, in a year, who knows? Maybe that's what the play is.
Yeah, but the AI still has to
yeah.
have something to get its information from.
Sure, right.
Yeah, maybe it's not gonna do the smart thing, which would have been just an interface that looks at what the traditional algorithms return.
Right.
But either way, like to show up in Google, you've always had to have a website. You're not going to be able to not have a website and show up in SGE, except maybe local businesses. You could just have a GBP and it could pull information from that. But the information's got to come from somewhere. So you're still going to need to have a website. It's just, how do we optimize that website? Is it now we optimize for the language model instead of the algorithm? Who knows?
Well, yeah. And, it's, I think it was about a week and a half ago. What's up, Andy?
I'm laughing at you.
But a week and a half ago, I did a webinar on Bird Eye. We've been doing an AI series actually for a couple months now. And the first one was me, Steve Weedman, and Brett Tapke, and Nate from Bird Eye. And this one was me, Steve, and Lily. And, one of the things that we said there is garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah.
So, and that the big fear there, not fear, it's actually kind of reality is that, so AI is trained on content, right? All sorts of content. What happens when all of the content that's being generated is generated by AI, and the AI is just feeding off of its own generated content?
Yep.
And it's like, okay, all of a sudden now this beautiful, wonderful assistive tool just became a piece of crap, basically. So, there's that. There's so many sides to this coin. We could probably talk about it forever. There's Google putting out different types of citations in the generative search, right? Which is supposed to really reward the content, the source of the content. So I agree with you there, is that, there is going to always need to be, I think, a content play, right?
Yep.
I think that links are still going to be important too.
Yep.
Reviews and ratings for local businesses are still going to be huge. We just in the infancy, we see that with Bing. It's based on my testing, at least, they are showing a lot of preference for review rating scores.
Yeah.
I've looked at the Google Bard results and I don't like them. So, because I do that too, man. It's like I look at organic and I look at that and I'm just like, yeah, Bard's wrong.
You know what my favorite news related to LLMs and AI was this last week? Which
What's
we
that?
don't have on our news list. I wish I should have paid more attention. I'm so jet lagged because I've done 3 countries in the last 3 weeks. So
You're nuts, dude.
No sleep. I don't know what's going on. I didn't even realize it was Friday until you messaged me today and you're like, hey, are we on? Or last night. Yeah, okay, it's Friday. Okay. But there was an entire university class that the professor failed the entire class because he used a ChatGPT detector on all of the papers. And the detector said that every paper was written by AI. And it turned out that none of them used AI even as an outline assistant. And they were all human written. But the detector said they were written by AI. So he failed the whole class. That stuff is hilarious.
Oh, yeah. No, it is. It's absolutely hilarious because the AI detectors are wrong.
Yeah,
they just are. I mean, originality.ai, by the way, is the best out of all of them. But even that's wrong. So chat's going off. But yeah, no, I mean, it's really simply, it's like there was another example where somebody put in an entire play by Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And changed one word. Right. And and they came back and said it was like 70% AI generated.
Oh, you saw the one guy put in like a whole section of the Bible and it was like, this is 100% definitely written by AI. Like, come on.
I know it's kind of hilarious. But you know what? You've got people writing these tools that also don't understand large language models.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It takes somebody who understands the actual machine learning to be able to even come close to predicting it.
Yep.
And again, LLMs, the way they work is word by word. It's not like there's a specific pattern that makes it AI.
Which is exactly why I hate that everybody calls it AI, because it's
It's
not
not
AI.
AI. No. There was a great article I read. I think it was in the New York Times just last week, and I was like kicking myself in the ass because I should have written this article. I really wanted to write this article, and it's not AI. You're right. It's 100% not AI. Well, actually, Sydney, thank you. Yes, the New Yorker. It's basically LLMs is computers doing computer shit.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Oh, I'm sorry. It's computers doing computer stuff, right?
Yeah, sorry.
You-
I need the that like high pitched beep that they beep out adult language. I'll get
Yeah.
that for next time.
Yeah, I will try and grab it, Andy. Actually, Elena, since you read it also, would you mind just doing a quick search and see if you can find that? Computers doing computer stuff on the New Yorker. Well, there she goes. Thank you so much. That's an awesome article. So everybody read that. It's so freaking true. And it talks about the garbage in, garbage out scenario too, as well. Uh, Elena's our new superstar. You rock. So, all right. So basically, okay.
Oh, she sent it just to us.
Oh, she did she? Okay.
There
All
you
right.
go.
Let's go. All right.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Reshare that to everybody. Yep. All right. There we go. Excellent. Sounds great. Thank you. Yeah. Paul, you're talking to us, by the way, just so you know, looks like you need to change your settings, or I need to go in and actually change everybody's settings. You know what? I'm going to take it. It's my fault. So let me go fix it really quick.
Yeah, there we go.
At least I think I can fix it. Oh no, attendees can chat with everybody. No, it's
They
it's
just have to
functioning
select
as
it.
yeah,
Like right above where you type in, it says to. It has a little button. Make sure it says to everyone. Otherwise, it just comes to us.
All right, excellent. You know what I always find funny, Greg, is that every time we start one of these sessions and we have don't have like a ton of questions or anything like that, we're always like, oh man, we're gonna be sitting here with like dead air after a while.
And
Jesus.
we're 22 minutes in and we haven't even finished half the news yet.
Not even half the news.
We should probably speed it up a little bit. So let's go to the next one.
Okay. All right, everybody. So let's see. Okay, so a really quick one again about AI. And that is just going to be Bard now has images. Yay. Whoop-dee. Awesome. Woohoo. Oh, you got it. Cool. Thanks, dude. All right. So the next thing is that hold on a second. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Darren Shaw over at White Spark found that GPB services are now being displayed on desktop. So that's a piece of news. And let's see. I'll just go ahead and grab that link real quick. Here you go. Okay. Let's see, which is kind of cool. I mean, services are freaking awesome, is what it comes down to.
Yep.
Really quickly is that so Joy started this whole thing. Geez, Joy. She did a case study where services showed that if you accepted the services that Google was offering, that they would rank. Darren did a study. Also, same thing. If you added the services, what would happen? And guess what? Ranking, right? Remove them. The ranking goes away. So I saw that and I was like, well, what happens if you add custom services? And so I went and did a test on that. By golly, it works. Literally within 72 hours of adding custom services, boom, ranking. Take them away, 72 hours, boom, they go away. Anyway, I'll be releasing that case study very soon. The whole point of this is that if you're not taking advantage of services inside of GPB right now, you need to. It has a dramatic effect. All right, next thing. Let's see if I swear I'm almost done with the news, really. It's been a long day. All right. So this is that our buddies over at Leadferno have noticed that Google is testing a live chat button on Google Business Profile. They've always had messages, right? But now this is actually a live chat. So that's kind of neat. And the last one is, we debated actually if we should talk about this today or not.
Let's share it. I'll type the link. You can talk about it.
All right. And that is that if you or if any of your clients are in the healthcare industry, we do recommend that you go ahead and fill out the insurance section. And you know what? I've got to actually go check this out. It's been like 2 weeks since I've seen this thing. And yeah, okay. Is if you don't, it's going to show a message, insurance acceptance unknown. So that kind of sucks for users.
That would be another one of those.
Totally. All right, man. I'm going to go drink some coffee. Greg, you hit it, dude. Apple Maps, buddy.
Well, you're supposed to ask me this question.
Well, the question, this comes from our buddy Jeffrey.
This is question section.
Magner. And that is Apple Maps - Bing ?
But it's
see if Jeffrey's here with us today.
So you're supposed to ask me the question and I answer. I know it's been a month since we've done that.
Oh yeah, here we go. That's right. Here's the question. My bad. Okay. All right. So
let's try this again. Let's see if Ben can get it right this time.
No, I'm not going to get it right this time. I need coffee. All right. So the subject of this is Apple Maps - Bing ? So does anyone else think Apple Map is a pain in the beep?
See, I need that beep.
You do, dude. You do. Next time.
I'll get it.
All right. So they get their data from Yelp. Yet, wait, Apple Maps getting their data from Yelp? They only get their reviews data from Yelp. Anyway, it's a pain in the beep to claim and update those listings. Oh my God, Bing, is this relevant? No one ever talks about these things. So would you care to talk about this?
Sure. Actually, it doesn't get its data. Apple Maps doesn't get its data from Yelp. It only gets the review stars from Yelp. And that's only until they start to collect enough review data on their own platform that at some point in the future, they will switch over and have their own. But you want to use Apple Maps Connect to claim and update your listings there. So is it a pain? Not really. Just use Apple Maps Connect. Bing, is it relevant? Heck yes, it's relevant. Especially now with ChatGPT using Bing. You for sure want to be there. But the really crazy thing about Bing is people don't realize the breadth of use of Bing. Everyone just thinks, oh, it's Google everywhere. But Bing is the default search engine for Microsoft, which means every PC, unless you are savvy enough to change the default search engine, your default search engine is Bing, which typically means people that skew older than the kind of mid-50s range typically won't change that. And that means all of those people are using Bing as their primary search engine. And the Bing ad network, the Microsoft ad network, powers Bing and AOL and Yahoo and DuckDuckGo and Ecosia and all those other alternate search engines, and also powers ads that show up in Microsoft products. So Bing Maps also is hugely important. Bing Webmaster Tools is awesome and has some really cool data. So you should use Bing Webmaster Tools as well. Like, we're big Bing proponents. Definitely pay attention to Bing. Make sure your information is correct and optimized there. As far as doing SEO or local SEO, you don't really have to do anything differently for Bing than you would have to do for Google. The signals are all there in both places, but definitely use those Bing tools. And if you're running paid search ads, definitely be advertising on Bing. It's significantly cheaper. You can get a lot of clicks for significantly less budget over there. Anything to add, my friend?
No, that pretty much says it. I mean, it's like Microsoft's, I think they're getting their second wind.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. So if they can clean up the user experience from a local standpoint, then it's going to be I think it's going to be very important for our customer, for any company's customers.
Yep. Now the next question is for you, my friend. And this question is from Carrie. Let's see if Carrie's here. It doesn't look like Carrie's here, but we'll ask the question anyway, because Carrie can listen to it later. And it is about the GBP settings changing daily. One of my clients has services that mysteriously change daily on the GB profile. We change them back to the correct services each day and have continued this process for months. They were, quote unquote, hacked a year ago by someone submitting a claim that it wasn't a legitimate business. No one else except the business owner and Carrie have access to the profile. The client and Carrie had to take lengthy steps to get the profile visible again, and this clearly impacts the business presence. Why might the services listed change daily? What else could they look for to stop it from happening? They see Google ad performance is down a great deal over several months. Also, the business won't be able to survive without a digital presence, and they're in the Colorado Springs market.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to tackle one piece of this. Services changing daily. I have never seen this happen. The only thing that I've seen in GPP is where you'll remove services and they'll come back. So I don't know what you mean. They were hacked a year ago by someone submitting a claim that was not listed. It's like a redressal form. So, yeah, to be honest with you, without more information, this is kind of, we really can't address this. So, because GBP doesn't function this way, there is no services that change on a daily basis. That would be, yeah, that would drive somebody insane.
Yeah.
However, I will say this is if you're having this problem, go to the community and give us a video. I'd love to see a couple days of this in action. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say about that, buddy. Okay. So, Greg, this one's for you, my friend.
All right, let's do it.
This comes from Janice, Janis. Janice Bryden. Okay, so Janice asks, how is it possible that a Google business profile without any details, no images, reviews, posts, etc., manages to rank number 1 in the 3-pack? The only info is name, phone number, hours, and website. There are many of them in the shed, patio, and carport categories in Cairns, Australia. All of them are SABs, and their websites have been all created by the same lead generation company. Example, well, anyway, okay, so when we got your example, did the time difference, okay, well, sorry you won't be able to be here to hear the answers. Hopefully you grab it on the podcast. But what do you think, Greg?
Well, first of all, hello from the United States down to Australia. It's super rad that you're watching us down there in Brisbane, which is one of my favorite cities in the world. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not that hard to get a crappy GBP to rank well. What you need to do is worry less about why they're showing up and worry more about getting them taken down because they're not legitimate listings. So use the redressal form and go in and fill out all the information there. Typically, Ben, I think you do the same thing. When you do redressals, you use a separate Gmail account to do that, don't you? We do.
I don't, because I have a PE address, which is a lot more powerful. They kind of look at ours a little bit differently. But yes, for the average user, I would definitely use.
But like our team, if we're going to do redressals, like I'm not putting those in, the team's putting them in. We have a separate email that we do redressals from. But you basically go into the redressal form and give them evidence like, hey, this isn't a legitimate listing. It's a lead setup. It's not a real site, blah, blah, blah. Not a real business, doesn't exist there. And just get them taken down. It is way easier to take down the cheaters than it is to worry about whatever magic they're doing or voodoo they're doing in the background to try to get those listings to show up. And typically, it's a little bit easier to get them removed from the results than to try to do all of the effort that you got to go through to bump them down and outrank them.
Yep. You know? So I will just add a couple different things to this. The reason why, unfortunately, is I can't reveal it because it's a really scammy trick these lead gen companies do when they buy these profiles. These are bought profiles, by the way. So they're usually created out of places, usually created out of Russia, actually. So, but anyway, Greg is 100% right. Just go ahead and redress them. I would actually, depending on the laws in your country or state or whatever, if you can do a recording, call them up, record it, and lead them down the path to revealing the fact that they're not actually at that location. I do this a lot, actually. And sometimes people are pretty darn sneaky. And when you get to the point where it'll be like, yeah, but I'm right around the corner. I want to come by and do business with you. So I'm going to stop by. Will there be somebody from your company there? I mean, because I noticed it's at a mechanic shop, and you do title loans. So somebody going to be there? No, somebody's not going to be there. So what happens when I call you? Who's going to come out and help me service my loan? Well, they'll tell you the name of the company when they get there.
Yeah.
Or when they call you back. Oh, so in other words, that's not going to be serviced by you, right? Right. It's not serviced by us. Anyway, go ahead and get them basically to admit that they're basically a lead gen, and then use that and submit that with your redressal form. It's very powerful.
So, well, the next question is for you. And this one is from Dipa Gandhi, who is here today listening. And the question is, I have a couple of service area business GBPs. You know what's really interesting, as a total aside in the middle of reading this question to you?
Yes.
Have you noticed lately that everyone's kind of shifted and now is pretty comfortably saying GBP instead of GMB? Which, when they made the change, we were all like, oh, this is horrible. We're going to call it GBP for the next couple of years. And now we've all switched and not even really noticed. It's kind of funny. Anyway, I have a couple of service area business GBPs which are suspended. Everything on the GBP is compliant with Google's guidelines for service area businesses, and proof of business was submitted, but the appeal was rejected. What's the best course of action at this point? I've already replied back to Google's response asking them to take another look or to escalate. I also asked for help on the community forum, but don't have a response yet.
All right, so let's see. What is it, 10:37 right now? Oh, okay. Let's have some fun. All right, Deepa. Deepa, I hope I pronounced your name right. Please sign off in the chat and let us know that you are active and aware that we are talking to you. And I'm just going to help you out with this really quickly. If we can get it done in 5 minutes, starting now. So, Deepa, are you there? Feeler? Yes, excellent.
There we go.
Right.
Awesome.
Okay. Are you comfortable sharing your head? I'm going to have to ask chat. Is everybody here that's listening comfortable hearing a little bit of a quick troubleshooting here just to see if we can help Deepa here? All right. Awesome. Let's do this. Okay.
Bunch of yeses. Heck
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Let's have some fun. Okay, Deepa, you have just won the lottery. No, I'm just kidding. We're just going to help you out. Okay. So, Deepa, are you comfortable sharing business details in this format? In chat.
Actually, I just messed up.
What?
Because we're talking about one specific issue, we should say, Deepa, come on down. Okay,
there we go. Okay. Right on. All right. So, Deepa, are you comfortable sharing the information like name, addresses, and stuff like that here in the chat? I just need a yes or no. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yes. If I'm in the business again, I had a couple since the question was posted. I was finally able to get them. Okay. Get one of them reinstated. Excellent. Because really what I'm looking for, to be frank here, is the first thing I need is the name of the business. And thanks, Andy. You too, buddy.
Hey, Andy.
And I guess let me ask you a couple questions. How about that? If you could answer as fast as possible, they'll pretty much be yes or no answers. Okay. So does the name of the business match the legal documents to which you supplied Google? In other words, if your name was ABC Car Company, does everything that you submitted them say ABC Car Company? And I mean everything. Okay, so everything lined up as far as the business name. All right. The address that you're using, is it a home address or is it a office? home. Were you showing the office address, or I'm sorry, the home address on your Google Business profile? Or was it hidden? It was hidden. Okay. Service area. Was it no more than 2 hours normal driving distance from the point of verification, the home? Okay. I'll ask the question again. Okay, it was a 50-mile radius. Got it. Okay, that's fine. All right, so that's 1 hour-ish. Maybe. Okay, depending on area, on country. Okay, next question is when you submitted the documentation, did you happen to submit an LLC document, a business license, or a utility bill that was in the name of the business at that and had the home address on it? Yes. Which one of those three did you submit, or all three? Business registration and utility bill. Okay. And it was in the business name at the address. Okay. Okay. Next question is are there multiple businesses at this home address that have Google Business profiles? No. Okay. Interesting so far. Okay. All right. Next thing is did you happen to do a video of the workspace? When I mean a video of the workspace, I mean starting from outside, opening up the door with a key, going into the actual office itself, and showing the office. I would recommend that you do that. They will never ask for that, by the way. Okay. So given all of that information, I mean, that's kind of the basic rundown. What I would say is that you probably should have been reinstated. Okay. Unless there's something else going on in the background that nobody can actually see. You might want to also scour for a duplicate too, just in case, because that does happen, but which can block a reinstatement. But barring that, then I would just go to the community. Well, you said you already did go to the community. So go ahead and just DM me the community thread, and I'll go ahead and I'll take a look at it this weekend. Okay. And my Twitter handle is at the social dude. And we'll do that because it sounds like you did everything right, Deepa. And I hope I was pronouncing your name correctly there. If I wasn't, I apologize. All right, cool. Hey, Mark, you're definitely welcome.
And everybody, if you enjoyed hearing Ben work through that live, which was like a masterclass in how to think about this sort of stuff, keep that in mind for future episodes. That's exactly what we were talking about with the live audit stuff. If you've got a problem and you want us to work through it live really quickly, we love doing that sort of stuff. And it's really cool on the replay for everybody to be able to listen to and hear the thought process behind what you need to think through when you've got these issues. So definitely you can submit those as questions through all of our channels as well.
Yep, absolutely.
And say, hey, live audit this, or take a look at this live, where it's not specifically, hey, here's a question, but hey, can you look at this one problem? We love doing that.
Exactly. And heck, we'll even do screen sharing if we need to, just for the fun of it. All right. So anyway, Greg, anything that you want to add to that, my friend?
No, that was stellar. We've got 15 minutes left. Should we continue with those questions, or we got 5 questions over in the Q&A? You want to jump over and do the live stuff? So, everybody live, come on down.
Hold on.
Oh, John, come on, man. You got to put it in the Q&A.
Yeah, John.
And everyone also, if you're curious, you're either here or you're listening to this recording. If you're curious as to why we always ask you to put the questions in the Q&A, we don't save the chats every week, but we do save the questions in Q&A that we don't get to, so we can get to them in the future. In fact, some of the questions we went through today were Q&A questions from previous episodes. So that's why we're always saying drop them in Q&A. We're not trying to be difficult. We just want to be sure that if we don't have time to get to your question, we can get to it later.
Oh, wait a minute. You're not trying to be difficult, Greg?
I mean, it depends.
There you go.
Okay,
All
so
right.
that was a question for you. So this question from Mark should come
Comes
to
to
me, right?
you. Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And John, throw it into the Q&A, buddy, and I'll answer your question. Okay, we do have enough time, it looks like. All right, this comes from Mark Barris. Hey, Mark, a question. What are the best practice for uploading videos to GPP? Some of my clients' videos get tagged not approved. They are under 30 seconds. Thanks.
Boom. This is easy. It's not just the 30-second time limit. It's 30 seconds and or 75 megabytes in size. So if it is less than 30 seconds, but more than 75 MB, it will get rejected every time. A lot of people don't realize that it's not both of, or they only think it's the 30-second time limit. And also, just because the video is 30 seconds doesn't mean it may not be 30.5 seconds, and that's enough to make it not work. So usually you want to shoot for like 29 seconds just to be safe, because just because it says in the video editor that's exactly 30 seconds doesn't mean it might not be a partial second over. So watch that. But probably it's more likely it's just the video file is too large. So render it down to a smaller size or smaller resolution so that weight of that file size fits under the 75 megabyte size, and you're probably going to be good to go.
Yeah, the only thing I've got to add to that is that just make sure the quality of the video is actually good too.
Yeah, that too.
Because if you're uploading something that was done on like an iPhone 10, which I've seen, and it's all jittery and junky and, it's horrible. And it's like, yes, Google can actually parse that information and they will reject your video too.
All right. So, there we go. The next question is from Michael Hardy.
Okay.
Michael says, howdy. Our client is in the local pack for cannabis-related searches, but is absolutely invisible for weed and marijuana searches. We've optimized the website to emphasize weed and marijuana over the past 2 to 3 years and heavily de-emphasize the word cannabis. Still nothing. Any ideas?
Yeah, is Michael still here? Yep, he's still here. Okay. Hey, Michael, how you doing, buddy? Haven't talked to you in a long time. Michael and I first actually met back in the Clubhouse days.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I recently did a Clubhouse, actually. It was pretty fun again.
I never did a single Clubhouse.
We should get you on a Clubhouse. I still have the largest Google business profile. It's got like over 2,000 members or something like that. Anyway, okay, enough about that. All right. So, Michael, answering the question to you. So the the first question actually I have for you on this very quickly is does the business name have the word weed and marijuana in it? If the answer is no, okay, there you go. So I would go through a rebranding exercise in the guidelines and add weed and marijuana to the name if you can. Understood on the cannabis. Cannabis is going to cannabis is going to come naturally because of the category. It's most likely cannabis store, right? So that's why it's going to rank for cannabis, and it's going to rank for cannabis regardless, by the way. So, but weed and marijuana is not, in Google's eyes, semantically correct. How should I say? The next thing I would recommend is you absolutely make sure that you have weed and marijuana types of keywords, phrases in your services. Okay. So when you're forming those, just think of the word provides, blah. So it's going to be provides, weed. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, right? It's up to you. That's fine. Who cares what your competitors are doing? To be honest with you, I'm just telling you what you should do. Your competitors, it's up to them. But I would do that. I would go through the rebranding exercise. Okay, they're already in services. Yeah. So then adding those keywords to your business name, that's going to be pretty much your silver bullet as when it comes to that to ranking.
Hey, Michael. Uh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
Southern California, man. It's going to be highly competitive.
Yeah, so it may be really hard because most likely it has nothing to do with your business or what you're doing or optimizing for. It probably has to do with the three that are showing in the map pack have weed in the business name.
He's
That's
saying they
probably it.
don't. So,
I thought you asked him, does he have it in the name? And he
no,
said
they
no.
he just said there. He just said right there. He said they don't actually have it
They
in the name.
don't. Okay, well, if they
Yeah.
don't, then that is your silver bullet. You get weed or marijuana into the name of the business, and boom, you're gonna pop right up to the top there.
Yep.
Otherwise, it probably does have to do with the content on your site. And, if you've been indexed as being all about cannabis and now you've just come through and changed a couple of keyword phrases to weed in the title tags and H1s and you didn't really change the content much, that's probably not going to be enough to flip it over. But honestly, like Ben said, pay attention to the GBP stuff that you can influence, especially the business name, and that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, but again, I will warn you. When you change the name, you can get suspended. So make sure you are in the guidelines. If they have signage, change that signage. If they have a business license, well, most don't. But if they have some kind of licensing, change that licensing to the new name.
Yeah, you
Okay.
don't want to get suspended right now because it's difficult to get out of that suspension sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. All
right.
right, 9
Next
minutes
question
here.
oh wait, that was your question.
Was
I'm
it?
lost. Wait, you. Now it's my turn.
All right. So I'm going to ask you the question. Okay.
Yep.
So, all right. So Mark Barris has a question for you, Greg. Do you think we're going to see sponsored results in the search generative experience?
I mean, who knows what we're going to see when it actually rolls out, because right now it's still kind of testing. But when you say small sponsored results, I'm assuming you're saying ads, and 100% yes. There will always be ads. Google's never going to remove ads from anything because Google exists to make money. They're not going to remove the way that they make money. So yeah, for sure. Easy answer. Yes, there will be sponsored results.
You just shocked me, Greg.
What?
I thought
that Google wants to make money?
No, I thought they were a nonprofit.
Yeah, they're just a free utility, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on, they don't.
Let's ask our friend Barry if it's new that Google's just really only all about making money.
Oh, okay.
Nope, it's not new.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks, Barry. So, actually, we've just to say this is Mark. I would check out the links from earlier in the show where we were talking about search engine land, etc. And from the early screenshots that we're seeing from people in labs, there are absolutely ads, 100%. As a matter of fact, I think people have counted up to 9 different types of ad units so far. So it's going to continue to explode as far as ads go. So if you run a pay-per-click company, I would say your job is pretty safe.
Yep.
All right. Let's go.
Our buddy Max is back after being gone for the last few episodes, and Max wants to know. I
want to know something first, though, man. Max, where you been?
Yeah, dude.
We missed you.
Always here, and you've been gone for a few weeks. What's up, man?
Yeah, dude, you okay?
Maybe are we asking Max questions and he's not here anymore?
Oh, he's working on opening up his own dealership.
That is super rad, man. Hey, pop me a message. I'd love to hear some details on that. We haven't talked to each other in a bit. Okay, Max says he's been leaning into social to add optimization to GBP. Any thoughts?
I got lots of thoughts. What do you mean you're leaning into social to optimize for GBP? Because that's actually a question, by the way. You can be brief on your answer too, but what do you mean you've been leaning into social to add optimization to GBP? Reason I'm asking the question is because social has no impact on Google business profiles. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Posting on social to rank the social buttons. In other words, to get the social buttons to show on your Google business profile. That's probably what you mean. If that is what you mean, that doesn't help with your ranking, by the way. And also, posting on social will not cause those to appear on your Google business profile. So basically, those icons are populated by Google search, not GBP. The only way that you can, quote unquote, fast track them is to use schema. And that is to do a same as schema. And then you do same as your LinkedIn, Facebook, blah, 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 blah. The other thing is that make sure on the locations that you're doing the same as for is to match the NAP as closely as possible, especially like on Facebook, for instance. So search will see that same as, and if it makes the correlation, then it will go ahead and link those to your Google business profile. It's not guaranteed. It's very hit and miss. But so posting on social is not going to help this. It's not going to fast track it. It's not going to cause it to happen. So if you're posting on social for that purpose, stop. Do something else.
But also, why worry about it? Really? I don't think having a social link in the bottom of the profile is going to get any more clicks or conversions for you. And no one's going to click over to your social from your GBP anyway, because they don't know anything about you. They haven't been to your website yet. So
yeah, the only time I
really worry too much about it.
Only time I click on those social things is when I'm doing spam hunting. I go look for incentives.
Yeah. All right, we got 3 minutes left, so let's go lightning round for the last few and see if we can get a few more in.
Do it. All right. So Anonymous Attendee has a question for you, Greg.
Buddy Anonymous is back.
Yes, we need a t-shirt. Either that or we need to find a really cool sound for Anonymous Attendee.
Are you going to go to Local U in Toronto?
Yeah, probably I'll be there.
If you're going to go, I will for sure get together with you and we'll make some t-shirts.
Hells yes, brother. Hells yes. Okay.
All right. Cool.
All right. What level of access do you suggest is best to manage Google business profiles as an agency, manager, or owner?
Oh my God, this is so easy. It's lightning round. The clear answer is manager. You should never own a business's profile. The business should own the profile. You manage it.
That is absolutely correct. Okay, my friend.
Next question. We actually did have time to get to John's question.
Yay!
Even though John was naughty and put it in the chat. John's question is not just Ben, but Ben, because it's got an exclamation point.
Yeah.
Ben,
I know. Jeez.
How should you deal with a duplicate? So yeah, how should you deal with the duplicate if your listing is suspended and a new duplicate popped up?
It's
flag it as not at that location. You can't mark it as duplicate if your correct listing is suspended and not live. So I'm not sure how to proceed.
All right. So basically what happens here is this. This is there's a couple. It depends that go along with this.
It depends.
If you have submitted your reinstatement form and it has been over 24 hours, or it's in this case over within the 5-day window, but less than the 5 days. So in other words, if it's been within 5 days, but not in the first 24 hours, it is possible that Google has actually created this duplicate during this period to get you closer to that reinstatement, or they have evaluated the account on the back end and they go, you know what? I trust the listing, but I don't trust the account guy. So in other words, you might still be in purgatory, but they're saying, all right, let's go ahead and put it up. The listing looks cool. That's one way of dealing with it. No, don't do stuff with it at all. Leave it alone. If you touch it, now you're in a lot of trouble and good luck. So, because you'll never get reinstated. So what I would just simply do is I would reply back to Google on the thread that they've emailed you on and simply say, hey, just so you know, there is a new duplicate, which is on Google search. I did not create this. Just let them know that. You don't have to go into any other detail. You don't have to ask, should I do something? Should I not do something? Don't confuse them. Okay. They're easily confused. So just let them know that it's there. That's all you need to do. They will do the rest, basically, I guess is my point. By the way, the same thing happens with soft suspensions. So it's the same exact process. So that's all. I'm just describing that process to you, basically.
And with that, we are out of time for this week's episode. So thanks to everyone for attending. Thank you, Max, for coming back after being gone for a bit. Paul, you got a question in, and Danielle, you got a question in. Ben's copying those right now, hopefully, and we will add those to the next episode, which we will be doing 2 weeks from today, and we will answer your questions then. Everyone else, make sure you get questions in for the next episode, which is 2 weeks from today, through any of the channels. And if you want us to do those live audits or live looks, please get those to us as well. And everyone enjoy your holiday weekend.
Have a fantastic one. It's another one on the books. Thank you so much, my super friend, for coming back.
Friend. Happy to be back.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Max, great to see you. Trisha, everybody. Mark, thank you. Jeffrey. And we will see you in 2 weeks unless something explodes, basically.
Yep. Hey, everybody.
All right. Have a great weekend. Bye, all.